Are we live? I don't know. Damn, I prepared something for my introduction and now it's lost. Oh, sorry, Jeff. It's already here and now it disappeared. I don't know what happened, but welcome to our today's podcast. And we'll be talking about things that are going on in not in the Philippines, but here in America. Because the thing is, here's my thing, here's the problem. There's Philippines basically talks about a lot about United States, and they rarely get the full gist of what's going on because everything's like, for me, it's one-sided. And today we'll have a co-host, my co-host, should I say my business partner Jeff, who will be talking about the real SOST, or I don't know how would you spell that, but he'll be talking about the breakdown of what's going on in the Philippines, where we'll be diving into some heated issues, the latest on immigration crackdowns, Trump's tariffs, which is really big, and revelations about fraud in USAID, Social Security, voter registration, and all of those. So why should Filipinos and Phil? I'm scared because when the U.S. sneeze, when America sneeze, the world, including the Philippines, feels it. So let me welcome my co-host for this podcast. He's no other than boom, 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 boom. Jeff Moore. Jeff.
What's up, Doc? Hey, as you can see, I'm not Filipino, I'm white.
And this is the first thing. Since this is our program, can
Right.
you pronounce the channel?
Oh, yes. Manga peta. Manga peta.
There you go. You got it right, bro. So I guess
Just
we're
for
gonna
coffee.
go for the very first question. Just go straight ahead. Anyway, maybe you could before the first question, anything that you want to say, background or what else, things, thoughts.
Sure, man. So, as you know, I played professional baseball a long time ago, right? Division 1 college athlete, baseball. I've been in the financial industry for 28 years. I wrote a book about the stock market, the US stock market, right? And I do professional, I'm trading, right?
Mm.
So I've been in the financial world for a long time. And that's why I wrote that book. And I also trade. I trade, day trade professionally and all that good stuff. And you know what? I, you know, for the longest time, I was so depressed about politics. I didn't even, I didn't watch it. What was going on, it just upset me and I just stayed away. But now that, it's more entertaining, it's funny, I'm kind of getting back in the groove. But I'm a financial, my background is financial services, and that's where I'm at.
And this is a good timing, Jeff, because you did wrote a book on stocks.
Yes.
Now the big thing globally is they call the Liberation Day, tariffs and trades. And we've been seeing Trump's new tariff wave up to what, 10% to 49% on foreign
Crazy.
goods. So what's the buzz there? And are American businesses actually in favor of this? What do you see in the stock market? What's going on?
So I can just give you my thoughts. I'm not an economist, okay? That's one. One thing about me is I trade. When I trade, I'm more of just looking at the charts and trading. So I don't know a lot. So I'm just gonna kind of tell you. So I'm like you. And again, this is just my opinion. You might disagree, but it is what it is, right? I mean, the reality is we all live in this world. So let me give you my take. And again, I'm not an expert. People don't have to pay attention to me. You can even let me know in the chat if you agree or not. But number one, you are correct. This affects the whole world, right? And as far as tariffs, again, I'm just going to give you my opinion. So tariffs. So I believe the tariffs are going to be a great thing. Again, my whole philosophy is very simple. I don't understand why these other countries are pissed off, because they've been taking advantage of us forever. The last administration, oh my God, dude. Don't even want to get me started on them. They were weak, and it just allowed everybody to take advantage of us. And I don't get how they can charge all these tariffs on us, and when we come back with our reciprocal, and it's not even really reciprocal, it's basically half. How the hell are you going to get pissed off? If you're charging me 100% tariff and I charge you 50, what gives you the right? What gives you the right, man, to be pissed off at me? If you don't like it, you lower your tariff. And so, but there's a lot more to this. And again, I'm going to give you some crazy stuff, Doc, that you probably haven't thought about before. Maybe you just don't know, but we're just kind of starting off with the first part. So all these countries have been ripping us off, right? And now we're fighting back. We finally got somebody in charge. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
before you move forward, they think they're not ripping us off.
Yeah.
It seems that we are the ones who are ripping them off.
Yeah. The reality is Trump said it good the other day. He doesn't blame them because they were able to get away with it. And he's like, wow, that's actually a pretty good business decision. But now that you got somebody in office who's a businessman, you have to understand this dude's a billionaire. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. And the United States is the biggest business in the world. And so he's running it like a business. And the reality is, because there's been basically no tariffs put on them, all of a sudden now they have tariffs and they're like, oh my God, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. But this is good. Okay. This is going to be really good in the long run for the U.S. And again, I'm not an economist. I'm just some average dude who played baseball, been trading stocks for a long time. But you have to admit what's been happening is everybody, a lot of the big companies have been doing their business in other countries, right? Moving out of the United States, building plants, doing business over there, right? So the reality is, what good does that do us when they're going overseas? So what Trump is telling them is, hey, look, man, number one, if you don't like the tariffs, you can start bringing your business and building in the United States. Because if you build in the United States, you have no tariffs. So if you're going to gripe, well, then shit, bring your business over here. And guess what? No tariffs. So that's one. And that's going to build the middle class like you can't even imagine, because all these jobs are going to open up. And you can already see the companies coming over. Right. They've already committed to building in the United States. That's going to produce so many jobs. And so that's the main thing for the tariffs. It's first, hey, bring your business over here. And if they bring their business over here, that's good for America. Again, the people that are here, it's more work. And it's about time, but again, I got common sense. And the common sense is, to me, again, just I don't understand how you can be pissed off if you've been charging me X number and all of a sudden I charge you half. That makes no sense. But, I got a little bit of common sense. So kind of seems pretty obvious to me. You rip us off. Now we're going to come back and do something. What's up?
Yeah. And here's the thing. What Trump did was, I guess, revolutionary. Why? Because it brings huge companies like the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSM. Yes. Is it TSMC? They are investing here in the States. It's $100 billion investment. And you have Saudi companies, Johnson & Johnson, Scott's Banks, UAE. They are investing in the United States, which pushes the economy of the United States to go up. And since, like you said, there are no tariffs if they put their business here. Now, correct. I guess the other thing is, the other side of the coin is, we got a huge American companies going offshore before. And I guess that's being tolerated by the previous administrations. And having these tariffs, it means they might be coming back here in the States, right?
Oh, they might not. They might. No, they are going to be coming back in the United States. It's like, but the reality, see, what people are, okay, you know, somebody was talking about the stock market, right? The stock market's getting crushed. And yeah, it's getting crushed. But let me give you a little bit of lesson on the stock market based on what I know. First of all, and you may not know this, Doc, it's 8% control and own 95% of the stocks. So the reality is the stock market going down, the wealthy, the very few people, the average person is even invested in those companies, just so you know. 8% own 95%. So what's happening, the stock market going down, see, this is what the hidden message that a lot of people don't understand. Trump is actually taking from the wealthy and distributing it to the middle class, because the people that are losing out right now are these big companies temporarily. They're going to just temporarily lose. It's taking money out. What he's also doing is by doing the tariffs, it's causing the bond market to go up. Look at the bond market. The bond market's going up. The dollar's going down. So what does that do? Well, what that does is that's going to force the Fed to lower interest rates. Because so what's going to happen is they're going to lower interest rates. Let me tell you how that's going to benefit. Number one, they've got this huge debt, right? America's got, the lower the interest rate, guess what? The less they're paying in interest on that debt, which is huge. That's because that's what they're trying to do, lower the debt. But guess what it does for you and me? People that got homes, they can go back and refinance their mortgages, save all that money, put that money back in the economy, and then all of a sudden you got these more jobs. So this is the best move in history. But what's happening is the American media, right? MSDNC and all these CNN, what they're doing is, oh my God, this is so bad. They don't even know. Half of those fools aren't even invested. This is going to explode the middle class. It's going to bring down the debt. It's going to bring these companies back, and all these companies that are sticking it to us, guess what? That's about to change. This is the greatest thing ever, but they won't talk about this on the media because, well, they know it, but they're getting paid by the big corporations to instill fear in everybody.
Yeah, it's the fear mongering. And so many years we have the great divide between the elites and the poor, and almost the middle class are being wiped out. Right?
Middle class has been wiped out, bro. This is bringing it back. The middle class is going to thrive. This is going to be the greatest boom in American history. And the middle class, you and me, we are about to benefit with more jobs. Oh, guess what? And what's happening is these companies, they start bringing their business over here. And by them doing these tariffs, that's going to force companies to buy now produce locally from America. And what do you think that's going to do? That's going to push the prices down. So when we go to the grocery store, we're going to pay less. You can already see it in the gas prices. We're going to pay less. You've already seen eggs come down. We're going to pay less. Again, temporary pain. You know, the stock's temporary. But in the end, this is going to be the greatest thing, and it's going to put everybody on an elite level playing field, because China has been dominating, and that shit ain't going to happen no more.
Well, China, they did a retaliatory tariff. 35%.
Yeah, no, I know.
Was it 45%?
Which is
what
stupid.
Does that mean?
It's stupid on their part, because fucking 95% of their stuff is bought by Americans. Only 5% is even bought by their own damn country. So by them doing that, they're basically telling us not to buy their shit. So they're in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble.
Now, looking at the global economy, which country is the biggest consumer, bro?
Well, we are.
We are, right. So that means we have the leverage. We are on the.
They're screwed. We have all the leverage, bro.
How would this affect other countries? Now we're talking about Philippines. What do you think will happen for imported products coming in the United States? You got the tariffs, so what?
So I don't know much, to be honest with you. Like I don't know much about the Philippines. You know way more than me. You know, but I mean, tell me a little bit about, you know, the Filipino economy. What do y'all Are y'all big in produce? Or tell me about it. Educate me.
We are big on produce, but the main economy of the Philippines at present is the labor. We we export labor, people. So we are totally dependent on the remittances. Peoples from other countries, Filipinos sending back in the Philippines. Now, how would that affect if there's a tariff here, tariff in the Philippines?
Well, I mean, the tariff, and I don't even know what tariff did they impose on the Philippines. Do you know? Because there was a list of like all of these countries. I don't know what tariff
Like
did they impose.
10% on, he said it's a blanket 10%. So not just the Philippines, let's just say on other countries. Now
Yeah.
you said China 45%. It makes them like, their prices will go up. That means it's like, hey, in a way, there's that messaging, don't buy from us because our products are so expensive.
They're not
So
buying from us anyway. So who
yeah,
cares?
and that's the other thing. Because, for example, I remember way back then in the Philippines, talking about tariffs. Toyota, Japanese cars, there's tariffs, but it's not that expensive. However, if you go Ford, Ford is just an average car, right?
Yeah.
Average manufacturer,
Yeah.
but the prices there are over the top, which means they tariff United States at a bigger price.
It's
I
not
don't
even
know, like,
close.
right?
It's not
If
even-
it's really expensive, there's a huge tariff on that.
Bro, I saw one. I can't remember exactly, but it was one of the countries, and it might be China. On automobiles, the tariff was like 300%.
Mm,
300%.
that's
Basically,
crazy.
what they're saying is don't bring your cars over here because we're not. If you go to Europe, for example, Asia, you're not even going to see American made cars. So here's the deal. They
Mm.
don't allow us to, they put the tariffs on so we won't ship our cars over there, which they don't want anyway, but yet we let them ship their cars over here. Does that make sense to you? No, it
Nope.
doesn't make sense. So we're going to get them back. And the reality is we're the biggest economy in the world. And if they want to mess around, I wouldn't mess around with Trump. That dude didn't become a billionaire because he's stupid.
And he got great advisors
Oh, the best, yeah.
behind him, like Scott Bessent, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you better believe it. And these guys aren't messing around, man.
They
So
don't mess
that's
around.
my thought on tariffs. I know we're going to talk about immigration and stuff, but that's kind of my final thought. There's a bigger picture with the bond market forcing the Fed to lower interest rates. That means the interest that is on our debt is lower. That means people can start refinancing stuff, more money in our pockets, and in the end, taking from the wealthy temporarily and giving it to the middle class who's been dead.
We got
Yeah.
people watching here. Hey, if
What
you
up?
do have any questions, comments, just let us know and we'll try to answer it. If you want to shout out, we'll give you a shout out.
Manga peta.
Banga pita. Let's drink some coffee. Now, my next question would be to you, my dear friend, is immigration. What's going on in immigration in the United States? Like, they see a lot of, like, Filipinos are so afraid, like, oh no, we're gonna get caught or what. But there's a real thing going on here that most immigrants, tourists, need to know, because they think if they have a tourist visa, or should I say work visa, or an immigrant visa, they might be deported.
Right.
But there's more into it. Maybe you could share more about that.
Again, what I'll do is just give you my thoughts, my 2 cents. I'm not an immigration expert, but I do live in Texas and I live on the border. So do you, right? So we're down here on the border. And as far as is this a real thing? Oh, you better believe it, man. I mean, the last administration has allowed murderers, rapists, guys that come in, they kidnap kids for prostitution. I mean, it's been awful what these fools have done, right? Immigrants living in New York, again, we're talking about criminals, okay? Criminals, right? Was that M13, that gang, whatever the hell it's called?
Yeah, MS-13,
MS-13,
Tren de Agua.
Tren de Agua, right? Criminals that are coming over here and killing, Americans and doing all sorts of crap. And so what they're doing now, and I know that they're not just, we're going to deport you, right? They're going after the criminals and stuff first. But here's my thing, man. Here's my thing. There's a lot of immigrants. Elon Musk is one of them who came to our country and did it the right way. So the reality is, if you come to the country and you do it the right way, what's the problem? Everybody on, MSNBC, CNN, they're griping about stuff. Dude, just do it the freaking right way, and there's not a problem. I don't get it. And if you've been here illegally causing trouble, you should go, man. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who do it the right way. So I wouldn't be scared. I would just do it the right way. I mean, again, I'm not an immigration expert. The only thing that I know is I've got 3 kids. And there's a lot of bad people that the last administration has led over here because you know what? One, they care about criminals more than they care about people and criminal immigrants more than they care about their own citizens. Why is that? Because they're giving them housings, they were giving them money, and the reason
it's
why,
you, bro.
And the thing is, all of where these people are, they're states that don't require ID for voting, so they're bringing these people in so these people can vote fucking a Democrat. They're like, we're going to give you houses, we're going to give you cars, we're going to let you come over here. You got to vote for us. And so they're bringing all these people in because they want to remain in power because, again, this is my opinion, but they're bad people. But just do it the right way. I don't understand the problem. The problem is the last administration let so many people in, and now we got to get them out. Everybody's scared. I get it. But if just do it the right way, and I don't see the problem.
You don't actually see the problem if you do it the right way. Looking at you go to blue states, especially New York. You go to Chicago and even California. What's going on there? There's a lot of crime. There's a spike of crime, and mostly they are done by these illegal aliens, right? And then what's sad about it is they even got a free ticket to the Roosevelt Hotel to stay there for 7 months. They have some debit cards where they can
they're living it up, bro.
They're milking our country.
And you know who pays for that?
Us.
We, the American tax. So, it's like everybody's griping about, for example, Doge, right? Oh, dude, the Department of Government Efficiency, the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse that they're finding is like the IRS will come after us. You better pay your taxes. And they would milk us dry. They don't care what happens to us. And then they take that money and they go fund everything else in the world and give it to all these other countries. And they're giving it to these illegals who are gang members. So what the fuck is up with that? So I'm paying for their hotel. Like that's over now. But that's what was happening. The reason why all this is going on right now is because the country is in a mess. And Trump said it good yesterday. He said that America is having surgery. You have surgery. You're a doctor. You have surgery. You have to go through a recovery time. We had surgery. Now we're going to go through the recovery. And whenever you get done, you're going to be better than ever.
I guess some or most of the Filipinos there in the motherland rarely hear these things because their source is CNN, which is
Clinton Network,
MSDNC.
That's it, MSDNC. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you for those, bro. We got barely 10 minutes to go. I know. This has really been a good discussion. I hear a lot of people. They are so mad, angry at Elon Musk. They're burning Tesla cars. They are burning dealership. Even in Switzerland, they are vandalizing distributors and dealership, all because of his affiliation with Trump. But more so on the things, I guess, that he discovered being the head of Doge. So what's going on with Doge and why there's so much backlash on him. But
Okay,
I
so
guess go ahead, please.
number one, it's because those people are idiots. That's the first. They're stupid. They're dumb. They need to be thrown in jail. They need to be sent to El Salvador. You see all that? That's where they need
I
to be.
know.
So number one, they're complete morons. Period. That's the biggest. Idiots. Number two is there's a bigger person behind the scenes that's funding this operation. We don't know it yet, but they know it, and they're going to talk about it. So there's a bigger person, whether it's George Soros, whether it's a Democrat Party, they're funding these operations. It's kind of like they're putting these people in strategic spots.
They got shirts, bro.
I know. I'm telling you.
They got shirts.
It's being funded by somebody higher up, and we'll find out. I don't know who it is. It could be Pelosi, Obama, who knows? But that's that. And they're stupid. But what strikes me is literally a year and a half ago, the Democrat Party loved Elon Musk. He was the greatest thing in the world. You know why? Because he built these electric cars, and they're like, you gotta go green. They loved him. This is the savior. And now they hate him. You know why they hate him? Because they're finding all of this fraud, waste, and abuse. And these people don't like it because they're getting all this fraud. They're getting paid. Okay. So all these cover-up, it's all big cover-up. All that money that's going to buy $50 million to buy condoms for Hamas. Okay, come on. What's that? It's all a big cover-up. They're getting paid, and they don't like it that their paycheck is ending because it's stopped. And it's like, if I take away your hundreds of billions of dollars, you're not going to like it either. And it's over. That's what the problem is. Because me as an American taxpayer, do I want my money going to fucking baboons fucking in space? I don't want that. Right? That's bull. And why would I ever get mad? The only people who are getting mad are, number one, people who are on all this free shit. So they're getting all this free shit and they know it's about to end. So they're like, well, fuck, I don't want to work. I don't ever want to work. So I'm getting free shit. It's going to end. The bigger players are about to get caught and they're taken away from their piggy bank, man. You take away from their piggy bank, now they're pissed. So this is all a big coordinated effort against who they used to call their darling child. But now that he's taken their fraud, waste, and abuse away, they don't like it. And they're crooks, and I don't give a shit.
7 to 8 figures went to Stacey Abrams.
Oh, I know. And guess what? I think that one of those foundations that got that, before that, they made like $100. So like on their balance sheet, it was $100. And then the next year it was like billion. Okay.
Billions.
From $100 to billion. It's all a big scam. And the thing is, people that watch MSDNC, CNN, they're getting that information from the fucking crazy lunatic lefts, and they're not telling the truth. Everything out their mouth is an absolute lie. And people around the world that are just watching it, they're like, whoa, fuck, Trump sucks. Elon sucks. No. The party that was in place secret-handedly was trying to destroy America, and they got caught.
Yeah, because the issue here, talking about the Philippines are a huge beneficiary of USAID. And I was one of those when I was still there, and you know, way back then, everything is well computed, audited, and sent to the U.S. Embassy, to USAID rather, and we know where the money goes because they're really strict on it.
Yeah.
But hearing from what Elon Musk found out recently,
yeah,
it's like it really went away. It's like, what's going on here? DEI, Opera in Colombia, it's like, what's the transgender stuff?
Their woke agenda, right? Their woke agenda.
Yes,
it used to be a great organization until the Liberal Party came in and destroyed it with their corruption. And unfortunately, because they found out, you know, the majority of that stuff was funding terrorist organizations. And like you said, all that other stuff, you know, you got to go. And, you know, but in my opinion, I mean, I think all this stuff will get rebuilt because it used to be a good organization. And unfortunately, you got to go in there and do surgery, right? You got to do surgery to fix everything.
Last thing, Social Security. Have you heard about what they found out on Social Security, that you got people who are still getting pensions, should I say, or benefits at the age of 120, 130, 140. And you got 20 million people who were registered that suddenly became alive.
Yeah.
1.2 million are illegal aliens, and they tried to trace it. And going back to what you said, they were able to vote.
I know, that's the bigger picture. They wanted to stay in power. Do you know, and you may or may not know this, but every single blue state, 100% of the ones that won blue state, none of them required an ID to vote. There was no voter ID required. So you tell me there's not something up with that every single state that won blue, all of those states, no voter ID was required?
How crazy is that? It's in the Constitution. The only person who could vote is a U.S. citizen.
Now, it hadn't been like that, and that's why they were allowing all these people, and that's why New York is flooded, California is flooded. All those fucking blue states are flooded because they don't require, and they were trying to do that to Texas and all that stuff. But if they would have won, the United States would have been dead. It would have been over. For our kids, you got kids, I got kids. It would have been over. It would have been over.
It'll be Venezuela. Bro, thank you so much. And then we will have another of this podcast talking about politics and all those stuff and how it is related in the Philippines. Final thoughts, anything that you want to say, go ahead, please.
Manga peta.
No, thank you, bro. And to those who are watching, thank you. And if you do have any questions, comments, or what, please let us know. Go to the comments below, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that every time we do this broadcast, you will be notified. See you later, Joe. Bro.
All right, buddy.
Joe.
Peace. Oh, man. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.